Hello everybody, it's Tommy, and welcome back to another Create a Sim for the Disney Save. Today, we're going to be working on the royal family from Brave. The previous video was Merida. She got her own video, so make sure you check that out in the Disney Save playlist linked down below. And today's video is going to consist of the rest of the household, which will be Queen Eleanor, King Fergus, their three children, Harris, Humbert, and Hamish, that are triplets, Moddy, who is kind of like the house maid, royal maid, and we are also going to be going into Create a Pet today to add a dog to the household. So we are starting out first with Queen Eleanor. She has the successful lineage aspiration, one that I hope we can maybe get a couple more of under the category of just family, because we do seem to use successful lineage quite a lot. Her traits are proper, family-oriented, and ambitious. She will, of course, be a part of the freelancer royalty career. Eleanor is the perfect queen, poised, intelligent, and the model of tradition. She spends much of her time educating Merida on the skills and knowledge fit for a future queen. This causes a lot of friction between her and her daughter, but at the end of the day, she believes she is only doing what's best for the kingdom. Her husband, King Fergus, is sometimes impulsive, and Queen Eleanor often serves as the voice of reason. She works very logically in all things that she does. Fergus and the lords respect Eleanor and see her as a voice of reason and power within the kingdom. Eleanor is also a master crafter of elegant tapestries. She often uses the craft to depict history and stories of the kingdom. She will live in the beautiful castle that will be coming out speed build as far as that goes sometime next week. Hopefully, castle builds always take me just a little bit longer than everything else. As well as being a master crafter of elegant tapestries, she will also be well-rounded and love to read and write. As far as fame level goes, I have chosen to make her and King Fergus a 4-star celebrity, which I know doesn't make 100% sense as far as them collectively as a unit. They would all be very famous, and it's something that you could easily bump up or down if you feel like that's appropriate. However, the reason I decided to do that is because I really reserve the 5-star status for just the Disney princes and princesses, and occasionally another character or two, like Walt Disney, I believe, is a 5-star celebrity. But I don't really like to do any of the other characters, especially if they're not a main character, as a 5-star celebrity. That's just kind of a personal rule with the Disney Save. And then as far as Eleanor's outfit goes today, I went back and forth on this for a little while because in the previous video, you might remember I mentioned there is a really gorgeous dress from Get Famous. It's actually kind of like a costume, and I've been saving this dress specifically for Brave. It comes in a beautiful green color. It has a matching kind of like king's or knight uniform that I felt like would be mostly appropriate for King Fergus. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. And I really wanted to save it for Merida, trying to think of like, what am I going to put my Disney princesses in, and planning for the future. And then I put it on Merida, and I realized that I wouldn't have anything for Eleanor to wear because she can't wear the same dress, and there really isn't anything in the catalog that is as high of quality that also fits within the time period. So because of the fact that Merida tends to be a little bit more casual, and I feel like her mother should get the dress that is a little bit more elegant, I decided that Eleanor's primary outfit is actually going to be this beautiful dress from Get Famous, and then it will be an option for Merida, but she will actually have a different dress that also comes in green. So that is what we ended up with. Obviously, her hair is gorgeous. It's kind of parted to one side in this big chunk with beautiful like braided golden wire wrapping throughout it. She has a crown. All things that we don't quite have in the catalog as of right now, and so I decided to go with a hair that kind of gives the same idea, but is not exactly the same. Anything that basically goes past the shoulders as far as women's hair goes, we have almost none of, so it's very difficult, especially with updos, trying to get something that's very specific, like they show in Brave, to match, but I think that I've picked something that gives a very similar idea and still captures Eleanor's elegance. Now moving on to King Fergus. His aspiration is bodybuilder. He is a self-assured bro active sim, and he has 2 Scottish deerhounds according to the movie. He might even have more, so that is the type of dog that we're going to be adding at the very end, and the household only had room for 1, so I'm just going to be doing the 1. Maybe we could add a second one in as a stray later on, but that was kind of the only option that we had. He will also be a freelancer royalty career. Fergus is a loud, boisterous man who means well but doesn't always make decisions based on propriety. instead letting his temper overrule the royal way at times, despite how patient he can be when it really matters. Eleanor often gets Fergus back in line. As far as rulers go, Fergus is easygoing, friendly, and kind. Like his daughter Merida, Fergus often bristles at the restrictions of tradition. As a father, Fergus just wants his children to be happy and feels torn when Merida and Eleanor are at odds with one another. King Fergus has a warrior's heart. He likes to be loud and rowdy, thriving in any activity that allows him to do so. He enjoys comedy, drinking and partying, dancing, singing, and physical activities of all kinds. He also has a deep love for his Scottish deerhounds. He will again be a 4-star celebrity with a good or pristine reputation. I was so intimidated to even attempt to make Fergus. He has a lot of elements to him that I feel are not currently available in the catalog of Sims, specifically being his outfit, of course, where he does have a kilt, and even just going through literally the entire catalog, all of the options, whether it be marked as masculine or feminine, trying to find anything that I felt could pass as a kill or resembles it in any context. I just could not find literally anything. I could literally not find anything that I was happy with. We did have a couple of plaid skirts, but none that sit in just the way that you would want. A lot of them were very modern. There were none that came in the green color that he's known for. And so the compromise that I ended up making is basically that the dress that comes from Get Famous that we put Queen Eleanor in does have a matching king's uniform, and I decided that we would go ahead and use it. It does feature a little bit of armor. It comes in the same greenish tone so that it could still have the appropriate color. He does wear some kind of a fur cape, and it features a little bit of fur, which is extremely rare in the catalog. And then, of course, there's some other things about Fergus that I was not able to replicate. He wears a very specific hat. I did give him a hat, and I think it gives a similar idea, but it's not exactly what he's wearing in the movie. And then he also does have a peg leg, so that is just something that's also not available currently in The Sims. Hopefully we do get that down the line, because there is quite a few characters that would need some updates here or there, depending on what that would be. And then he has a very interesting kind of beard. It's one of those ones where it's more of like a mustache and beard combo. And then not only that, but his beard itself is actually a different color than his mustache. His mustache matches his hair, whereas his beard is sort of this peppered black and gray color that fades into a lighter orange. And we definitely just don't have things like that. It was only very recently, in the past couple of years of The Sims 4 lifetime, that they started adding in hairs that have more variation as far as like tones of a color go, if that makes sense. So again, I think I did the best with what we have in the catalog. Of course, if we do ever get a proper kill added to the game, I would love to come back and update him, but that is what we have today for Fergus. Now we have their 3 children, Harris, Humbert, and Hamish. They are all going to be toddlers, so we went back and forth on this in my Discord and on my Patreon. I basically asked my patrons, what age do you think Hamish, Humbert, and Harris should be? And people were really torn about making them toddlers or children. And the reason that I ultimately decided to go with toddlers is a couple of reasons. I think aesthetically, they look more like toddlers than they do children. They're very short. They kind of act more like toddlers, in my opinion. None of them have any speaking lines as far as I know, so they can't talk. And I think when I look at them, I just generally feel like they are more toddler-like. The other reason being that we don't have a ton of opportunities to add toddlers to the Disney save. In fact, as of right now, the only ones we have are Molly from Toy Story. Dumbo was made into a toddler, which again went very back and forth as far as my patrons picking the age. And we have a toddler or 2, I believe, in Oaken's family household, but that is a townie household. And I was thinking down the line, how many more characters are we going to make where the possibility of having them be a toddler is even a choice, and there weren't very many that I could come up with. So this is just the decision I decided to make. You could easily age them up if you felt like it would be easier to depict maybe some of their characteristics a little bit more. I can totally see why you would want them to have some more traits and more things like that. I also thought it would be really fun to have a royal family that has toddlers, because again, I couldn't think of another family where that would be the case. Now, as far as their cast goes, Harris, Humbert, and Hamish are identical triplets. They are wearing exactly the same outfit. There was really only one in the catalog that fit in with the color scheming and the time period that I felt like was close enough to whom we had previously made for the household, and I didn't change any of their facial structures between one another at all. So I only showed the creative sim for one. They are exactly the same except for their traits. Harris is inquisitive, Humbert is wild, and Hamish is silly. So good luck telling them apart when you are playing with them in the household. Now we have Moddy. So Moddy is kind of like the household's royal caretaker. She has a lot of different tasks, and she is going to basically be in charge of the triplets. So I really wanted to have her be a part of the household so that she could be largely responsible for the triplets and taking care of them, because toddler sims require so much maintenance. And then you could still have the royal characters being the parents, kind of doing their own thing, being royals, and not having to mainly focus on that, as they probably wouldn't. Moddy's aspiration is Master Chef. She is a foodie, clumsy, paranoid sim. She will have a self-employed career of sorts called Royal Caretaker. Moddy is a personal caretaker to the royal family, specifically in charge of cooking and looking after the triplets. The boys often give Moddy a really hard time and use her in their pranks. After years of dealing with their antics, she's become very paranoid of them. Moddy takes pride in her cooking. She's always baking or planning the next big meal for the royals, and she will of course have no fame level. Now Moddy does wear some kind of a head scarf or head dress to cover her hair. I tried to pick something out of the catalog that I felt like would be appropriate and still give the same depiction, as well as her dress in the movie is kind of specific. She actually wears something that's very low cut at the top and then goes all the way to the floor in a brown color, but it's also layered, and anything in the catalog that is layered, if you're looking for something like that, you're going to have a hard time. It's just not something that we get very often. So I ended up going again with a dress from Realm of Magic, which I'm not so stoked about. It's not the perfect choice, but I went through the catalog forever trying to find something in a brown color, in anything cream that kind of resembled what she wears, and I really couldn't find anything that felt like it was layered properly but also low cut. So I decided to just go with something that was a little bit more layered and again fits with the rest of the household aesthetically. And then lastly, we are adding one pet to the household. This is the Scottish Deerhound, which is not actually a type of dog that we are able to have according to the breeds that are listed in Create a Pet. So I believe I used an Irish wolfhound or Irish hunting hound of some kind, and then sort of went from there based off of pictures that were available of the dogs in the movie. And that is going to be the end of today's video. Let me know what you thought of the family down in the comment section below. Stay tuned for Castle DunBroch. The speed build will be out very soon. If you would like to support the Disney Save on Patreon, you can do so by clicking the link in my description box down below or the one at the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Hit that little bell icon below to turn on post notifications so you can get updated every single time I post. And I will talk to you all in the next one.